Okay, so ready to talk about feeling amazing for like way longer than we think.
Always ready for that conversation.
We're diving deep into Superhuman today, this book that's all about challenging what we think we know about getting older. And it's not just about living longer, right? It's about feeling incredible even at like 80, like you do now, that kind of energy.
Yeah, that's the dream, right? And the book argues it's not just a dream. It gets into the science of it all. And it's kind of shocking what we can actually change.
That's what I love about this kind of stuff. It's not just wishful thinking. It's like Superhuman is giving us an instruction manual almost.
Totally. And it all starts by getting this idea. Aging isn't just about the years going by, it's what's up with our cells. Like,
Yeah.
that's where the action is.
And this author, he had this aha moment when he was super young, actually, like in his 20s, dealing with brain fog, feeling wiped out all the time. And turns out his biological age, meaning his cells, were way older than his actual age. So how do we even measure that biological age? And more importantly, can we rewind it somehow?
All right, so that's where it gets really wild. Picture this. Inside our cells, we've got these tiny power plants. They're called mitochondria, right? Their whole job is to take the food we eat and turn it into energy we can use.
Okay, I'm picturing it like little engines keeping us going.
Exactly. But just like any engine, the more miles we put on, they start to sputter a bit. And that's a key part of aging.
So it's like our cells are literally running out of gas as we get older.
That's a good way to put it. And this decline in how well those mitochondria work, it's a huge reason we age.
Yeah.
It leads to more of these things called free radicals. They're like, I think of them as little troublemakers, messing up the machinery in those power plants, our cells.
Okay, troublemakers in the power plants. Got it. So how do we fight back? I've heard antioxidants are important here, right?
You're on the right track for sure.
Yeah.
Antioxidants are like our cell's defense system against those troublemaking free radicals.
Yeah.
But, and this is important, it's not as easy as just downing a bunch of supplement pills. We got to go deeper, fix the problem at the source.
Which brings us back to those power plants, those mitochondria.
You got it. And that's what I appreciate about Superhuman. It's not about slapping a Band-Aid on aging. It's about getting in there, optimizing how our bodies work at the most basic level.
Right, working smarter, not just harder. So it's not just about living longer, it's about living better.
100%. It's about having the energy, the focus, the vitality to really enjoy those extra years.
So we're talking about giving ourselves a serious upgrade, but where do we even start? It feels like a lot.
Well, it might surprise you. One of the most powerful tools is something we use every single day.
Don't tell me, let me guess. Sleep.
Good guess. Super important, but not quite. I'm talking about food.
Food. Really? That seems almost too simple. We need to eat to live, obviously, but you're saying it's also the key to, like, not aging.
It's a biggie.
Right.
Superhuman. It really hammers home this cyclical ketogenic diet.
Keto, right. Everyone's talking about it, but I'll be honest, I'm kind of fuzzy on the details. What's the link to aging well?
Okay, so basically it's about switching your body's main fuel source. Instead of glucose, which comes from carbs, you're running on ketones, which come from fat.
So less like pasta and bread, more, what, avocados and olive oil? Is that what you're saying?
You got it. By cutting way back on those carbs, especially the refined sugars and processed grains, you're kind of tricking your body into thinking it's fasting, even though you're eating. And that's when things get interesting.
Hold up, fasting is good. I thought that was just a weight loss thing.
Oh, it's way more than that. When you fast, or do this keto thing that mimics it, you're flipping a switch in your cells. It activates these processes, and one of them is called autophagy, which basically translates to self-eating.
Self-eating, okay, that sounds kind of intense. Like, are we talking cannibalism at a cellular level here?
I know, right? Sounds dramatic, but it's actually super beneficial. Think of it like your cell's own personal recycling system. During autophagy, they break down all the damaged parts, the junk, and recycle it. It's like a cleanup crew getting rid of all the garbage. Makes way for brand new, healthy cells.
So it's like spring cleaning, but for our cells. I like it.
Exactly. And this whole process, it's linked to tons of benefits, like less inflammation, sharper brain, and, yep, even living longer.
Okay, starting to connect the dots here, but you said cyclical keto. Why not just stay in ketosis all the time?
Good question. For some, that long-term keto can be good, but this cyclical approach, it's about being flexible. Teaching your body to easily switch between burning glucose and burning ketones, which is great for your metabolism.
So it's not just what we eat, it's about giving our bodies a break, letting them do their thing, like hitting the reset button every so often.
Right on. And speaking of resetting, Superhuman really digs into another thing we tend to neglect.
Let me guess. Exercise.
Another good one. But not quite. I'm talking about sleep.
Sleep. Okay, I'll admit I'm guilty of not getting enough. But you're saying it's as crucial as diet for like all this longevity stuff.
Absolutely. When we sleep, our bodies are working hard, repairing damage, balancing hormones, sorting out our memories. And like with food, it's not just about how much we get, it's about how well we sleep. Quality over quantity.
Okay, so what does quality sleep even mean in this whole longevity thing?
Think deep, restful sleep. REM sleep, that's where our brains are going wild, processing emotions, solidifying memories. The book even suggests using these sleep trackers, like that Aura Ring, so you can actually see what's happening during the night.
Data-driven sleep, love it. But
Love
there's
that.
this other sleep thing, or I guess anti-sleep thing, that I find super interesting. The book talks about light, and not just sunlight, affecting our health.
Oh yeah, light is huge. We've evolved to be in sync with the sun, right? Sunrise, sunset, that's our rhythm. But these days, we're surrounded by artificial light, especially that blue light from our phones and those energy-efficient bulbs, even when it's dark outside.
And that messes us up, right? And it's not just bad for our eyes.
Nope, not even close. Superhuman makes it clear that blue light, it disrupts our whole internal clock, suppresses melatonin, which is what tells us when to sleep. And that throws everything off. Mood, metabolism, even leads to some serious health problems down the line.
So we're basically telling our bodies it's go time all the time, even when it's time to chill out. No wonder so many people have trouble sleeping.
Exactly. And it goes beyond sleep. The book even talks about how blue light at night, it can mess with blood sugar, make us crave junk food, could even lead to weight gain and problems with insulin. And then there's our eyes. Higher risk of macular degeneration later on. It's a lot.
Okay, gotta be mindful of the light situation, just like our diets.
For sure. But the good news is there are easy things we can do to fix it.
Like what? Give us the goods.
Well, first off, less screen time before bed. That's a big one. And if you are going to scroll, use those blue light filters or even try those blue light blocking glasses to protect your eyes.
Those glasses, isn't that a bit much?
It might seem that way, but superhuman. It tells this funny story about the guy who started TrueDark, the company that makes them. He was so hardcore about blocking blue light that he even wore them on a romantic candlelit dinner date. Shows you how important this simple change can be.
Okay, you've convinced me. No more late night scrolling for this guy. But what about during the day? We need some sun, right?
Absolutely. Sunlight, especially in the morning, that's key. Resets our internal clock, boosts mood, helps our bodies make vitamin D, which is crucial for bones, and our immune system.
So it's all about balance. Sunlight during the day, less artificial light, especially blue light at night, like fine-tuning our body's schedule.
You got it. And speaking of schedules, Superhuman also talks about another big player in longevity, and it's totally tied to this whole light and rhythm thing, hormones.
Hormones.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Yeah.
do it. That's something that people seem to struggle with as they age.
Yeah.
What's the superhuman take on keeping our hormones in tip-top shape for the long haul?
One of the biggest takeaways is that hormones, it's not just about those sex hormones, although those are obviously important. It's about creating this perfect environment in your body so all your hormones are working together in harmony.
Makes sense, but how do we actually do that? Seems kind of vague.
It goes back to the basics we talked about. Food, sleep, light. They all play a part in how our bodies make and manage hormones. For example, constant stress, it can totally mess up our cortisol levels, then that disrupts sleep, throws other hormones out of whack. It's a domino effect.
So managing stress, it's not just for our sanity, it's crucial for our hormones too, huh?
100%, it's all connected.
This is so fascinating, but I gotta ask about hormone replacement therapy, HRT. It's everywhere, especially as people get older. Does Superhuman talk about that at all?
It does. It dives into bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, or BHRT, as a potential option for when our hormones naturally decline with age.
BHRT, that's a new one. Sounds interesting, but also kind of complicated. What's the deal?
Okay, so basically BHRT uses hormones that are structurally identical to the ones our bodies produce naturally, unlike those synthetic hormones that can sometimes cause nasty side effects.
So a more natural approach to hormone therapy.
That's the gist. The book says BHRT can be really helpful for menopause symptoms like those hot flashes, trouble sleeping, mood swings, all that fun stuff. It can also be used for low testosterone in both men and women.
Makes sense, but is it like a magic bullet? Does it work for everyone?
Not necessarily. The book's really clear that BHRT, it's not risk-free. You have to do it with a doctor, someone who really knows their stuff. It's a personal decision, and you have to weigh the pros and cons carefully.
So personalized medicine, figuring out what's right for each person.
Exactly. And Superhuman also talks about other ways to optimize those hormone levels naturally. Then regular exercise, stress management like meditation, and eating a balanced diet full of all the good stuff our bodies need.
So even if someone chooses not to go the BHRT route, there's still a lot they can do to support their hormones naturally.
Absolutely. This book really drives home the point that we've got more control over our hormones and our health than we think.
Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground from those little power plants in our cells to the importance of sleep, light, even hormones. But superhuman, it doesn't stop there, does it? It goes even deeper into this whole world of cutting edge stuff like stem cell therapy. And I gotta be honest, that still feels kind of sci fi to me.
Right. It definitely captures the imagination. But stem cell therapy, it's moving crazy fast these days.
So, for those of us who don't speak science, what even are stem cells? And what's their connection to aging?
Okay, imagine stem cells as like the blank slates of your body, right? They can become any type of cell. Skin cells, muscle cells, even brain cells. They're basically essential for growth, repair, all that good stuff. But here's the catch. As we get older, we have fewer of them, and the ones we do have, they're not as good at their job.
So it's like our body's repair crew is shrinking and the workers are getting, I don't know, a little lazy.
That's a good way to put it. And that's where stem cell therapy comes in. The idea is to restock, rejuvenate those cellular reserves. Give our bodies a fresh batch of those super adaptable stem cells so they can heal and regenerate better.
Okay, I see where this is going and it sounds amazing. Almost too good to be true, honestly. But what does superhuman say about, like, the real world stuff? Can people actually do this?
Well, the author actually talks about his own experience with stem cell therapy. He's used it for old injuries and even as a preventative measure. He talks about it like proactively supporting his body's ability to heal itself.
Wow, that's wild. But I'm guessing it's not exactly easy to come by, right? Like, not everyone can just waltz in and get stem cell therapy.
You're right about that. Cost is a big one, and the regulations around it are still being figured out. But the book ends on a hopeful note, saying that as the tech gets better and the rules become clearer, stem cell therapy could become way more accessible. It even mentions this idea of banking your own stem cells, like storing them for later.
Stem cell banking. Okay, that's next level, like a health insurance policy for your future self. Okay, gotta ask about the cosmetic side of things too. We've talked about feeling younger, but what about looking younger? Does superhuman get into that at all?
Totally. It says that true longevity, it's about feeling good and looking good, that whole inside-out approach. Wouldn't be a complete guide to feeling superhuman without covering those visible signs of aging.
So what's the superhuman take on, like, wrinkles, gray hair, all that?
It's all about getting to the root of the problem, not just covering it up. Like with wrinkles, it talks about collagen, how important that is for keeping our skin bouncing.
Hey, collagen.
Those
It's in everything these days, from face creams to protein powders.
Exactly. It's a protein that gives structure to our skin, but we produce less and less of it as we age. The book suggests eating collagen-rich foods, bone broth, fish, things like that. Even collagen supplements can help counteract the loss.
So feeding our skin from the inside out. What about gray hair? Anything besides dye?
The book talks about this antioxidant catalase. It specifically targets graying by breaking down hydrogen peroxide.
Okay, hold on, back up. What does hydrogen peroxide have to do with my hair?
So hydrogen peroxide, it's a natural byproduct of our metabolism, but as we age, it can build up in our hair follicles and mess with melanin, which gives our hair its color. Catalase, it neutralizes that buildup and protects the pigment.
Huh, so it's like a shield for our hair's natural color.
Pretty much. And the book suggests adding foods and supplements that boost catalase. Turmeric's a good one. It contains curcumin, which helps with that. Ashwagandha, too. It's an adaptogenic herb.
Wow, had no idea you could target gray hair with specific nutrients. It's amazing how connected it all is, our cells, our appearance, everything.
Right. And Superhuman really emphasizes that holistic approach. Diet, exercise, managing stress, sleep, it all plays a part.
This deep dive has been incredible. Superhuman really drives home the point that aging, it's not a one-way street. We have more control than we think through our choices, our lifestyle. It's not just about living longer, it's about extending those healthy, vibrant years, feeling amazing at any age.
Absolutely. And the biggest takeaway, it's never too late to start. Even small changes now can make a huge difference down the line.
So true. And that brings us to the big question, the one we want you all to think about. If you could feel as incredible at 80 as you do now, what would you do with that extra time? What dreams would you chase? It's something to ponder. Until next time, keep diving deep and we'll keep bringing you the most fascinating insights from the world of knowledge.